Good morning. Happy Tuesday. We are back at the QB Huddle podcast this morning. Back at the table, I am joined by my podcast partner, Lo. You will notice we have a missing seat. Brandon Newey is not with us this morning. Something has come up. Not sure what that was, but he wasn't able to be here with us. That's all right. We are produced by New Era Media. We are syndicated on allaccessfootball.com, and we are part of the Fan Stream Sports Network. Welcome in Tuesday morning. It's gotten a little quiet in the NFL, but we had UFL news. Let's just get into the weekend. How was your weekend, Mr. Lowe? And what I know you got a big win this weekend. Was there anything else outside of that?
No, man, I had soccer kids again. We had a tie this week, so at this point, you're keeping up with my kids' soccer games as well. They're 1-1, 1-0-1. We had a tie. We scored at the very end of the game. So, no, man, just family time. I did have a game with the Crash. We won that one as opposed to. Schedule's not that tough this year. And yeah, good weekend. How about you? Any golf?
You sound real excited about it. Yeah, I tried. I went to the simulator on Friday. I got an hour in, and then I was essentially a paraplegic for the rest of the weekend. So very, very, very bad off on Saturday was the worst of it. And I ended up having to go to dinner Saturday night for my wife's sister's birthday. Her parents were in town and all that. So had to do that, and was not really too excited to leave the house, if I'm being honest. And then Sunday we had stand-up comedy class. I got to give a little, what do I call that? A bit. And then this Thursday I will be at an open mic. If you want to meet a QB Huddle podcast co-host in person, I know you'd be so excited to do it. Come out to Backdoor Comedy Thursday night. We'll talk about it again at the end, but I am going to go up for my first on-stage open mic presentation and have 3 minutes of jokes to give y'all. Actually, there's a bunch of us from our class that decided let's just go do it and get it over with. Let's go do it together and support each other. So Backdoor Comedy in Richardson is where I'll be Thursday night. I could say headlining because I'll probably be the last person up there.
Headlining, huh? Throw it up there. Throw it up.
That's there. Funny. Hopefully I can still see. Here's the trick. No golf. No simulator between now and then, because otherwise I won't even be able to stand for 3 minutes straight. So that's where we're getting with the simulator. We are going to be there soon. We're just kind of waiting for Lo, your schedule, and Brandon's schedule to kind of coincide so we can go to the back
we want
nine.
To make it all work.
We want to go to the back nine, and we want to film a show there. I'm at the back nine usually about once a week now is all I can do, but that'll be changing soon. I've got some procedures coming up, and hopefully the pain will be going away. We'll see. Let's get into this. We got some people this week. Sad week for the Minnesota Vikings. They lost two players in their family this week. Joey Browner had passed away last week. He's a six-time Pro Bowler. I watched him in the 80s. He was selected to the 1980s Team of the Decade. He's in the Vikings Ring of Honor. He was put in 2013. He's only one of two safeties. This was news to me. That's been taken in the first round. That says a lot about who Joey Browner was. He's probably right up there with Ronnie Lott and some of those, Lynch, some of those great safeties that played. Todd Bell from the Bears, but he was selected in top 50 Vikings in 2010 as well. Here's some shots of him. This is back when players weren't protected, man. This is back when safeties could be safeties and they would knock your head off in the middle of the field. And Joey Browner was one of those. Rest in peace to Joey Browner. So sad to the Minnesota Vikings. Any words for Joey Browner? I know that you've been doing some research on him the last few days.
Man, first of all, usually when we have passings in the NFL, like I watch it. I enjoy the NFL as a business year round. I like football year round. And when you have a passing of a Hall of Famer, a big name player, most people will know who he is. But these guys, I love the way the NFL lets us know when one of their own or that was a part of the NFL or Shield, no matter how long, how good, when they pass, we get to go back, and I feel like it's my duty, and I go back and I kind of watch a little bit and try to learn about this player. And man, like he had almost 40 interceptions in his career, which is like, okay, so he probably picked off some guys. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Right. But you always hear about the person that picked off a big name or something like that. So yeah, it was it's sad to see guys pass, especially in what we would consider probably pretty young. Um, and yeah, it's sad time for the Vikings because they had two, and things are in threes, and you hate that even, but to lose two is tough for the Vikings organization.
Yeah, they lost two. The other loss to them this week or last week was Jeff Seaman, a four-time Pro Bowler. He started in 3 Super Bowls in the 70s and was selected also top 50 by the Vikings in 2010. So he's another top all-time top Viking. And the Vikings are just going through it this week. I think we've got something there. There he is. Roar, just making tackles. The Vikings came close to winning a couple of Super Bowls, but were never quite good enough to do it. With Fran Tarkenton at quarterback, they came close a few times. And I saw the Vikings get close with Randall Cunningham at quarterback, with Randy Moss. They got, NFC title game. They lost to the Falcons. They missed a chip shot field goal. And the Falcons were able to go off and go to the Super Bowl instead of the Vikings. So the Vikings have been a cursed franchise forever. But rest in peace to Jeff Seaman. Rest in peace to Joey Browner. Go ahead.
Look at that face mask he had, man. I was watching the clips as you were speaking, and dude, if you saw someone with that running on you, yeah, I can't imagine. You said earlier when safeties tackled, and linebackers were just big safeties, and safeties were big linebackers. And between these two, man, it's like, oh, you could tell defensive, like those positions don't exist anymore.
No, it's so soft now. It's so soft. Football to me in the 70s was just brutal. It was just like knockout, get out. We're going to do whatever we want to anyone on defense, to the offense. The 80s, it became a little bit more technical, right? You had the Bill Walshes of the world come in, and now you had the West Coast offense was everywhere. And that was high flying, a lot of passing, a lot of big hits, right? Safeties were knocking receivers out in the middle of the field, and quarterbacks were getting knocked out of games. And then in the 90s, it started to get a little softer. And now we essentially play flag football with pads on. So I still love the NFL, but we need to get back to maybe a mix between the 70s and the 80s, maybe just a little mix.
Let's see. This is why you're having to have a lot of surgeries, stand up for 3 minutes.
100%. But hey, I earned it. I earned all that. I have NFL problems without NFL money. That's the problem. And
very good point. Very good point.
But so did they back in the 70s. Can you imagine putting your body through it, like getting hit by Dick Butkus? Let's say you played in that division and you got hit by him twice a year, multiple times. And then you leave the NFL where you were making, I don't know what they made, $17 a game or something back then. So no medical care, no NFL paying you $200,000 a year for the rest of your life. Like I can't imagine what those guys went through, because those of us that play in 37U have the same issue. We have the same issue. And Lauren, you'll figure it out one day. You're not there yet, but you'll be there. You'll be there. If you're asking me what is 37U, I mean, if you have kids, you know what 10U is, 15U, all the way up, right? We play. Lauren still plays. I played in it. 37U. In my case, it was 40U because I didn't retire at 37 like I should have. Anyway, I digress. You'll be there soon enough. It was just starting to get there.
Time is undefeated. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, and like I say, without the doctors that they have and the injuries that we play through, that NFL players aren't allowed to play through, it's a little crazy.
Speaking of
completely
things
unregulated.
Like you're saying, unregulated. The how about the NFL? And I don't know if you keep up with. Again, I'm year round, but do you keep up with the collective bargaining agreement and things going on like that?
Yeah, look, it's a little crazy what they're doing now. They want to take away a preseason game, which I'm on board because those preseason games are absolutely terrible to watch, but we watch them anyway. The extra regular season game, I'm kind of out on that. I feel like we already have probably too many. And then they're talking about expanding the season, right, to get the Super Bowl, I think, in February, like before President's Day or something like this. so that, you could have Monday off, which, I have a real job, so I don't get President's Day off. But, I don't know what that looks like. I don't know who does get President's Day off. I think you have to work for the government or something to get that day off. That's not necessarily a holiday where people get to chill. I don't know, man. I like what Burrow said the other day, though. He said, hey, how about you give a league-wide bye week before the playoffs start? That I like, right? Let everybody heal up, because too many times in the playoffs, you get a team that loses a game because injuries. They have too many injuries going into that game. So maybe we do need a bye week, but another regular season game that bothers me, because typically game 17, week 18 doesn't matter, outside of a game or two. Now you're doing that. You're going further out, even one more game. And we know it's all about the money, right? This is not about player safety, making the game better, giving us better performances, taking away some injuries. It's all about getting money on extra season ticket games. Do you see it any different?
No, but I wouldn't put it like that. I mean, it's a business. People have to understand that there's things that happen and go on where there's business here, and I think that the players should realize it more as a whole and a collective. But it's crazy how it's not a collective bargain. There's rules that are going to be changed, and we know it's coming. Different ththings like that. The biggest thing for me is, can you imagine a football game with placement refs?
Well, that's the next thing. I mean, I know that they're talking about raising the salary cap, and they probably need to, right? Especially with teams like the Browns signing quarterbacks to $260 million contracts. So that needs to happen. This
Tua
referee
got paid too. Let's not forget Tua got paid $55 million as well, and then cut.
And then they cut him. So, in some cases, it's better to be cut by a team than have to keep playing for them. I would say with these refs, well, I've seen this before. I've seen replacement refs. If you think these refs are bad, wait until we get replacement refs. And my question to the NFL is, why can't we have full-time refs, right? Most of these guys that do this are lawyers, right? They're rich anyway. Take a couple months off, right? Go through an off-season training program. There's a lot of money on the line in these games. There's careers. There's dynasties on the line, legacies on the line, and sometimes one guy in a striped shirt can mess it up for everybody. So, maybe we need to take the referee situation a little bit more serious. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that the referees are a part of the game. I think they're going to make mistakes. I think that you try to be consistent at minimum. They have all the tools to train them, but here's my biggest take on this. Yeah, I think they should be salaried. I think they should be full-time. Absolutely. I agree with that. But the rules are making this job a lot harder on the referees. This is where I'm at. All the it is or it isn't, and throw the flag because you can always pick it back up, and if you don't throw it, well, then you can't drop it later. These are things that have all come into play over the last 10 years, probably. Some are more recent, 5 years. What's reviewable and what's not. At some point, you're going to have to get it right or play the refs are part of the game. Like, you can't halfway bounce the club, right? You're either all the way in, review it, here's the right call, da-da-da. Which they've done in some areas now, right? They just place the ball. Look, dude, we already got it from up top. We know where it's at. So at this point, they're placeholders. It could be a part-time job, even. Come on, they got money.
They got to do something. The referees have way too much games one way or the other, and now we're talking about we don't want to pay them enough, and they want more money, and there's a lot on their shoulders. And again, I've said this since I was a little kid. I think the referees should be full-time. I don't know why they're not. Aren't umpires in baseball full-time? Aren't the referees in the NBA
There's a lot
full-time?
There's a lot too come with the NFL referee. Sporting, these are also fallouts from betting. When you bet on sports, these guys need to be paid big bucks. They need to make the right call.
Okay.
The wrong call, and we've seen in previous times
it gets bad.
That referee has been proven to taking money. So you better pay them so that way someone else doesn't.
How about this? Everybody in the NFL, it's a year-round job for them, right? They have to work out all year. You get a little vacation, but they have to do all these things all year to be able to play. Why aren't referees doing the same thing when they're the ones that really control the game? They're the ones that can control outcomes. We've seen it. So I'm for them having a quit your regular job. Let's pay them $250,000. At that point, I'm going to go to referee school myself. I'm going to learn how to do it and go make the money. But
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people would apply for that job.
Right? Come on, just make it full time. Let's give it the respect it deserves. Full time jobs, right? You can get fined. You can be suspended if you mess up in a game, right? If you call a ridiculous holding call, you get fined. Sorry, that's just what it
Imagine
is.
though being an NFL football player and looking over and be like, "Yo, that's Joe Schmo. Who's that? He's the highest paid referee in the game. He makes more than me and you."
Well, I don't think that would ever happen, but I mean, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Because right now they are Joe Schmoes. These players don't know who these referees are, right? And they're out there controlling fates.
Some of them hit the gym. They'd be out there ready with their whistle, and they hit.
Ed Hockley started that. Ed Hockley started that, and he'd wear the super tight shirt so that when he did it, he would flex. See, it doesn't really come from me like it does from him because he's big dude. His son is now a referee. His son is big, right? Trying to carry on the tradition. And they've got the new shirts where it's like a flat black. And so it kind of looks, it just like if you wear it right, it doesn't move. There's no wrinkles. So it's just like I'm huge. I'm a superhero. I'm a referee. And I'm an idiot because I make wrong calls most of the time because I don't get paid. So they need to fix it, though. We cannot go into the season with replacement reps because the real ones are bad enough. I can tell you the replacement ones, super bad. And we're going to go from bad to super bad. I don't think anybody wants to do that. You do that every Saturday night. I mean that.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, we got one more thing to talk about in the NFL before we get to our UFL wrap-up session. Quick show today, mainly because there's not a lot to talk about, but we got to talk about this. Aaron Glenn is the new head coach for New York, and Aaron Glenn, months before the season starts, a month before the draft comes out where you have the number 2 pick, says that Geno Smith, his 35-year-old quarterback who has never won anything, is his starting quarterback regardless coming into the season. We have a clip. I'd like to play the clip, and I'd like to get your reaction, and then I'll give you mine. But we need our producer.
You said Geno Smith is a Jet. What does it mean to have Geno back in the building?
It means to have a bona fide starter come in and lead this offense to where it needs to go. Listen, he's done it, a couple of years. I mean, those years in Seattle when he was, I think, comeback player of the year. Man, he was up for MVP early in the season. There's no doubt in my mind that we brought a competent starter here in this team. I look forward to him getting in the building.
So just to be clear, Geno Smith is the starting quarterback.
No doubt about it. He's our guy.
No doubt about it. He's our guy. It's March. We don't even know who we're drafting at number 2. Maybe they do. Maybe they know they're taking Ty. Maybe they know they're taking Ty. It was Ty Sanders from Alabama. Maybe that's where they're going. Maybe they're not taking quarterback. I don't know. Give me your reaction, and I'll give you mine. Because I have some thoughts on this.
I'm okay with it. If this is what they're really doing, they're good. It doesn't sound like it's smoke and mirrors. He's a defensive guy. So he likes a quarterback that's a leader, I'm sure. He wants help on the other side of the ball. They do get a vet, and he must believe in what Geno brings to the table, not last season, which is fair. I think that's fair. It does kind of shock me because it's early. You're kind of showing your hand. Or he's playing the game and letting everybody know, like, yeah, I'm not taking it. And then later he might be like, oh, maybe. Doesn't mean we might not take a QB. Yeah, and then someone wants to trade up, he could trade back. They don't need to draft a quarterback here. And yeah, in turn, that makes Geno Smith the starter.
Okay. I disagree with you in that I think they do need to draft a quarterback. Reason is because, as I stated, Geno Smith is 35 years old. Do they need to draft a quarterback and play him game 1 this year? No, obviously, because you have Geno Smith, who is 35 years old and your starter. This is one of those old 80s situations to me, 90s situations. You do draft a quarterback, Ty, and you do Ty Simpson, by the way. I said Ty Sanders.
Not at Ty Sanders.
You don't draft him. First of all, the Jets are the number 2 pick. not the number
Well,
one.
no, in the first round period.
Why not? Here's my thinking. Draft this kid and let him sit for a year or two. While you're doing that, continue to build the team, right? And in 2-3 years, when Ty is ready to take over, he'll have a team. This is how they used to do it. This is how teams used to build for success. They would take and they would build for a year or two with a veteran quarterback, knowing they weren't going to necessarily win their division or go make a playoff run, but they had a young guy in the saddle. And then they were going to build around that young guy and be good in about 2 or 3 years.
Are you crazy about Simpson? Are you crazy about Simpson?
I think he has an opportunity to be the best quarterback.
It's taken too long to be drafted at the 1-2. This class isn't that great.
This class is weak. But
so why force a QB pick when you have like 7?
I'll tell you why. How long can you wait for? How long do you want to hitch your wagon to the 35-year-old quarterback who isn't Tom Brady, Matthew Stafford? You know, these guys that are older but have won and have gone on deep playoff runs their whole career. That's not him. That's not Geno Smith. So at 35, how many years does he have left? A year, maybe 2, maybe 3. Okay. Who's going to replace him? Now, if you don't get a quarterback this year, now you're hoping to get a guy that's going to start game 1 next year or game 1 the year after that. So to me, it's a good time to take one of these guys that maybe aren't as high profile. And maybe you don't take Ty. Maybe you take a quarterback in the second round. Whatever. I think you take a quarterback and you let him sit. You let him sit and you build a team around that quarterback who's going to take over. New York? That's how it used to be. No one expects the Jets to do anything. And Aaron Glenn is going to get a long leash, in my opinion. Because he's Aaron Glenn.
But you're not going to develop a quarterback. I wouldn't want him to say, oh, yeah, I'm developing. Where at? In New York. Oh, the Giants? No, the Jets. Oh, okay.
Just my opinion. That's because, again, I like it the way it used to be. I'm not in favor of
the timing's not built like that anymore because guys don't take these 4-year contracts anymore. So
what was that noise?
You can't build. You can't build like that. You know what I mean? Your window's so much smaller than it used to be. So you wait, draft a quarterback when they can play.
I'm glad you said that. So let's say Aaron Glenn doesn't have the leash that we assume that he does have. He's been there for a year, didn't do anything, already got rid of Justin Fields, who they signed to be their franchise quarterback. Now you're bringing in now you're bringing in Geno. How long is – I mean, they're not going to win with Geno Smith, are they? Are we expecting them to win with Geno Smith?
This is the first time that they're going in understanding that. We have our starter. He's going to lead us to whatever happens. We don't think it's good.
But you just said it's a win now. So why are we going after
Geno Smith? Set yourself up for a win now. You only draft a quarterback if you're in a 1-2, like 2 to 3 year window max. Not like you're saying in sitting 3 years and then playing your 4th and then getting out there and it doesn't work. It's in the Green Bay. That's the only
place you can do that is Green Bay.
That's the only place it kind of happens.
Why is that? Why is that? I mean, man, you said it. You got to have a reason.
They've won a Super Bowl once every 10 years. They produce good quarterbacks. If you think about it, the last 3 are solid. But who else has done that? Who else has sat a quarterback to play?
I don't know any Jets fans, but if I did, my question would be, how comfortable are you coming into this season, and are you excited to watch the Jets play? And I'm going to guess most Jets fans are going to say, not excited, and no, I don't want to watch them play, but I will. I mean, that's the sentiment. I've been to a Jets game in New York.
Sure.
And it's they're an angry fan base. They're a very angry, irritable fan base that really doesn't care. But they show up because they're supposed to. So
they have a lot of. I think they overstand it. I think they overstand the situation that they're in. They have a lot of picks over the next few years, especially first. So I know I sound like yes, they're not going to do anything. They're not going to win. because they got the Bills, they got the Patriots. But I mean, the Dolphins are terrible. They're just as bad right now.
Well, that's fine. It's the Bills division anyway. Just gonna
Yeah, says
put that out
when
there. I mean,
2
you
years
got
ago,
one.
see this right
You
here?
got one.
You
You
see
got
this right
one
here?
this year.
Hard
Yeah.
knock.
Yeah.
They chose right. They chose right. They chose
That was
right.
one. Yeah. I guess we'll see. All right. We're gonna break we're gonna break this down, talk about it a little bit. I have to say, admittedly, I didn't get to watch as much UFL football as I wanted to this weekend, but I did watch some. Let's get into the scores though. The Birmingham Stallions beat the new Louisville Kings 15-13. The St. Louis Battlehawks took on the DC Defenders. We love the DC Defenders on the QB Huddle podcast. The Battlehawks won this game 16-10. I was very surprised by that. But coach came out, Shannon Harris came out and said, look, we did it to ourselves. This loss was more about us because we made a lot of internal mistakes. We caused ourselves a lot of penalties. It was a kind of a sloppy game, and he took accountability for that. Dallas Renegades, they scored the most. They made a quarterback change this year. They had 37 points as they took on the Houston Gamblers, beat them 37-17. And then the Orlando Storm took on the new Columbus Aviators. Both those teams are new. Orlando, 23-16. That game was exciting. In the first minute, they recovered a fumble from the other team, from Columbus kickoff return. They recovered a fumble, Orlando did, and they scored a touchdown like 2 or 3 plays later. So a lot of excitement in Orlando kind of right off the bat. Do you have any feedback, any initial thoughts of the UFL and what went down this weekend?
I've been like, again, I'm trying to let it grow on me, but football's football, man. I dove into some of these games, and you have to look at some of the moments. The Renegades, I watched some live, but more importantly, I kind of rewatched a lot of it. And yeah, Austin Reed looked good. You would have liked him.
I watched him. He was the best quarterback of the weekend.
You could see how he's not. You see why.
And
this is not a knock. Obviously, I'm not in there, but this guy, you can see why he's not in the NFL as well, and it's clearly just a size thing. He's not that big. He's also not like size-wise, but he made some great throws on time. You can see his body language, like so. You see the reads. He's going through his progressions of 1, 2, 3, and he's letting that last one rip, even if it's a tight window. It was cool. Plus, they're playing up the street. You know, I think they're at Toyota. Yeah, Toyota Stadium. So that'll be fun. I gotta catch one. I'm gonna catch one. I'm gonna give it a chance. Watching it is tough, but I think that's just because, again, NFL, get behind this thing. Where's my what's her name? Carrie Underwood. Where I need some type of opening for these games. I need a primetime game. Can you get behind and help market it, drive it? The production value, the camera's even a little bit further than I would want. Like, let's get zoomed in just a little bit more like they do with the NFL, so we can learn who these guys are. Right now, yeah, they're Jimmy's, Joe's, Austin Reed. They broke the passing record, though. I
agree with everything you said. Now, I will say this. Austin is bigger than you think he is. I thought he was kind of small, too. He's 6'4", 220. He could. That's NFL size. There's something about, maybe it was the uniforms made him look small. I don't know.
It could be, but you saw what I saw though. He
looks like 5. He looks about 5'10" to me. I don't know, but they say he's 6'4". I'm sure there's probably a couple of inches added, maybe, but 26 for 40, 65%, 376 yards. Those are not normal UFL quarterback numbers, by the way.
Was he a Bear?
Those numbers.
Why do I know that name? I think Austin Reed was a Bear.
Let's look it up. We're going to do this live right now. We're going to see where Aussie. He played at Western Kentucky. I can tell you that. Obviously, small school. Yes, he was with the Chicago Bears in preseason. And now he has made his debut. He looks much bigger in the Bears uniform, by the way, than he does in the
debut. He has the UFL record at 376.
There you go. Yeah, he played at Western Florida as well as I thought he played at Western Kentucky as well. But yeah, he's been around for a bit. He's a big dude. He looks a little slight, but he's actually bigger than we think. He was in camp with Chicago. Tough place to make that team when you got Case Keenum, Tyson Badgett, who's a Chicago fan favorite, and of course Caleb Williams. So tough to make that squad, but this is going to be his opportunity. And certainly to me, he was the best quarterback. He was the class of the quarterbacks this weekend in the UFL.
Lots of sacks for the defenders too. Lots of sacks.
Yeah, the defenders O-line, and that's one thing I caught from this as a whole. This is the one comment I'll make about the UFL as a whole. The offensive line play did not seem very stout throughout. A lot of early pressures, quick pressures. I think that is some of the difference that we see in these offenses compared to NFL offenses. Is you have really good offensive lines that have been together for a while. You get a long training camp. UFL, they practice for about, what was it, a month before the season starts. No preseason games. So it's going to take a little while for these teams to gel up front. And I think we'll get better offense. But you see that we got some low-scoring games. I think we're going to get more. I think we'll get more scores, better scoring, high-flying as we go through this thing, and offensive lines get a chance to work together. But to me, the glaring difference was up front for me. And it's got to be hard to play quarterback like that. I feel like you're, at least the first couple of weeks, it's like playing in an all-star game, all-star team, because everyone's just kind of thrown together and you got to figure it out. And I have a feeling the schemes are not very complicated. I have a feeling they're pretty basic, and there's not a lot of talking going on up front. So those are my big takeaways. It's still football at the end of the day, and we got to ramp it up a little bit.
Looking at the skill guys, yeah, and you're right. That's fine. Maybe that's why, because you're kind of looking at maybe a team can get a receiver. Again, this would be cooler if you're a Cowboys fan and you're watching the Dallas team, and that the Cowboys can possibly pull a few of these guys for their practice tryouts. It doesn't have to be, or whatever the hell it may be. And I just feel like if they backed a little bit more, more would come from all directions, right? Now you get more advertising, more this to make sure that these guys can gel and it can actually become a $75,000 a year type thing.
Yeah.
Right? Partner, and it doesn't have to be huge. Like, these guys want to make money, but right now this per game is because they don't know how long it would last. But go ahead, let's sign them for the season. Let's see if coaches can really coach. Let's see if players can really play. Let's see if fans are really going to be fans. And you can see what happened. And who knows?
I like it. I like where they're going. I like that they're getting more fan engagement. I like that the league seems to be growing. Certainly, you said it a couple weeks ago. They're on Fox now, so it was nice to see that. I do think the production has to go up a little bit, right? We could see a little bit of a better production. I love they're playing in smaller stadiums. It doesn't feel like they're in it feels like more where they belong. You're not a big stadium that feels empty, right? This little soccer stadium is excellent down the road in Frisco. There's football everywhere, folks. So I don't know where you might be watching from, but you can look up NAL. You've got arena football maybe in your area. IFL you may have. That's another arena league. Those are two of the biggest arena leagues that are playing right now. Here in Dallas, we have the Dallas Bulls that play down at Fair Park. And then you've got the UFL. We kind of told you where those teams were. But you've got let me see if I can just give a quick rundown for the people watching so they know, hey, we've got a team here. So you've got the Birmingham Stallions, Columbus Aviators, Dallas Renegades, DC Defenders, Houston Gamblers, Louisville Kings, Orlando Storm, and the St. Louis Battlehawks. All those teams, all the players live here. They practice here during the week, but they do play home games in those cities. So if you're in that area, check it out. Get on the website. Go to a game. It's fun. Football year-round. Two more things I want to bring up since we have extra time without Brandon being here. I saw two things in the news today. First thing is the Jacksonville Jaguars are attempting to make a move to Orlando to play in the, under Mickey Mouse. So that'd be pretty neat. I might be interested to go to a game if they're in Orlando. I feel like the demographics of your fans might change, right? Who wants to go to Jacksonville for anything else? So it's not like you're like, hey, let's have a weekend to Jacksonville and go watch the Jaguars play, unless you've been a fan forever. But, Lo, would you go to Disney World and spend a couple days with Mickey Mouse, and then
already
maybe you take a break and go to a game on Sunday?
No, how much are we talking? That's crazy, man.
You wouldn't do it?
Yeah, I couldn't afford that. There's no way.
Oh,
Disney on top of a football game? That's great. It's another park, pretty much. You're pretty much saying.
I forget you have kids, yeah.
Here's another park. Yeah, no. I think it's a cool experience for people that can go. That's great, but you can't take them out of Jacksonville's just feeling like they're getting going. It's crazy. So,
well, we'll see what happens. They're looking at that.
Business. It's a business.
Here's another. This happened yesterday afternoon. I think I saw the Rams are looking to either Jimmy Garoppolo or Kirk Cousins to come in and back up their guy Matthew Stafford. What do you think about that? Jimmy's already been there. I don't think Jimmy's anywhere right now. I think Jimmy was there. You know what? I like the Kirk Cousins idea. I think that's a strong play. The question, does Kirk Cousins want to uproot his family to LA? Does he want to uproot his family to LA? I'm going to say, knowing what we know about Kirk Cousins, probably not. But maybe. Does he still want to play football? That's the bigger question.
Yeah, that's
who
what
are we going to see?
Because you don't get to play football in a perfect situation anymore.
Who are we going to see in LA?
Jimmy G. Kirk's not.
Jimmy G. Probably.
Or Stetson. They still have Stetson.
They do still have Stetson Bennett.
How about Shador? Shador. Did you hear that news? He'll be wearing number 2 next year.
Oh, yeah. I also just read this morning, the owner of the Browns looks for Deshaun Watson to be a strong candidate to be their QB1, which I imagine as the owner, that's how you feel because you're giving this guy the bag and he hasn't done anything. He just hangs out and you are paying him a ridiculous amount of money. So that could be a story. That if that happens, that's the internet might implode. It just might.
If he works out and looks good and all this other stuff, there's trade value there too. So you got to hype your guy up.
Yeah. Who's going to trade for that salary?
Most of it's already paid.
That's true. There might only be a little bit left. 1 year, maybe. I don't know. So here we go.
With the market, he blends in now. Everyone gets paid that. So.
It's true. I don't know. Is there a market for Deshaun Watson? I'm not sure.
That's another good point too.
I don't know. And the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The
Jets.
The Cowboys have a new quarterback. And we hadn't talked about this. Sam Howell is now playing in Dallas. And he will work for the number 2 spot with Joe Milton. I wish we had 2 better quarterbacks because then I would make jokes about how they're actually going to fight for the number 1 spot. But neither one of those guys could take Dak's job, unfortunately, which doesn't say a lot about either one of them, I'll say out loud for everyone to hear. Week 2 in the UFL.
Sam Howell's going to be all right. He's going to be all right in Dallas.
He started for Washington. He was a starter.
Yeah, Milton doesn't fit that. He's a big athlete. Someone will still pick him up, but he don't fit there. So
I'll take Howell as the backup. I mean, whatever. We have who we have, and that's just the way it is. Here's week 2 in the UFL. The DC Defenders will play the Columbus Aviators, in Columbus Friday evening at 8:00 Eastern Time. On Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the Louisville Kings will play the Orlando Storm in Orlando on ESPN. On Sunday, April 5th at 6:00 Eastern Time, the Birmingham Stallions travel down to Houston. That game will be on the NFL Network. So this is interesting. There's 4 games, 4 different networks. On Easter, yes. And then Easter evening, we've got holiday football, folks. Holiday football. You got to love it. On Tuesday evening at 8:00 Eastern Time, the St. Louis Bulldogs will be right here in Dallas at Frisco Stadium, Toyota Stadium in Frisco, to take on the Dallas Renegades. If you want to buy tickets for that game, I'm just going to tell you what the tickets are because I'm on Ticketmaster right now.
Curious.
2 tickets for that game at the 50-yard line, way down at the bottom. $85. $85. That's nothing. I mean, I'm not going this weekend. I might go. I got nothing else to do. Who knows? We'll see. It's Easter. I don't know.
$85 each.
Each. That's not bad. Try sitting at the 50-yard line for a Dallas Cowboys game.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not doing it, but you can if you want. That's a lot of money. This is a cheap ticket. Family friendly. For a couple $100, you can take your whole family, sit on the 50.
Stadium's cool too.
What'd you say? Yeah, the stadium's great. Great views. I've been there for high school games. I've called a few high school games there. They do high school football. We tried to get our Rattlers, our 37U Rattler team to play there. And we had a business plan and everything because they sell beer.
$12,000.
They wanted a lot of money. But the bigger problem was they were willing to work with us. It was a scheduling thing because they have soccer played at the same time that we were trying to play. And so couldn't really work that. It was a soccer stadium. It was built for the soccer team. They weren't going to let us take it over. We tried. We did our best. We thought if we could sell beer, imagine the amount of fans that we will get. But it didn't happen.
Speaking of fans, if y'all are UFL fans, let us know what y'all feel about this. I'm going to dive in for y'all. Tim, catch some games. Let's watch this UFL. Let's see if we can make it work.
I like the UFL. I wish it would. It needs to be a little bit more exciting. I think it will be. It was more exciting at the end of the year last year when DC won it all, and I expect it will get more exciting this year. I'm definitely going to watch this game on Friday night. I don't have anything to do Friday evening. My wife is out doing something, I think, so I will be watching the DC Defenders take on this new Columbus team, and of course, be rooting for Coach Harris and the DC Defenders.
If you don't fall asleep.
If I don't, hey. I mean, the game's at 8 o'clock Eastern. That's 7 o'clock. What time do you think I go to bed?
I don't know. Take some. What is it? I'm sure you got it behind you. Where's it at?
There you go. If I
get promo in. Get your promo for the Dubs.
If I get sleepy, I'll just take some W. You see how I flipped it and caught it? That's because I have amazing hands. This is they're huge, really, is why I can catch things. But W, get you a W. W.GG/QB Huddle /discount. I think you need some of this because you seem a little sleepy today. You seem a little sleepy.
It feels like a Monday for me.
It's Tuesday.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
What's your weekend looking like?
Have another crash game and Easter. That means just family at home. Easter, man. What do you do?
Well, nothing. My wife will teach dance on Sunday. And
church.
And yeah, it is a big church day. I'm not really a church goer, so I shouldn't say that in Texas. I'll get canceled, but that's just what it is.
Back at it next Tuesday, yeah.
What'd you say? We'll be back next Tuesday.
Back at it next Tuesday.
All three of us. We'll talk more about the UFL. I'm going to take my homework serious. I don't have any comedy class this weekend because it's Easter, so I'll be able to watch all the UFL games. So we're going to come in stacked with UFL knowledge next week. In fact, I think we should give out an On Fire and Garbage Juice Awards next week to our top our bottom UFL quarterbacks. If I was to do it this week, I'm not sure who's in the garbage juice, but I'm definitely putting old boy from the Austin Reed.
Austin Reed.
Austin Reed was on
record.
fire.
Yeah,
he was awesome.
Maybe these guys would like a shirt. Maybe they'd wear a shirt. Maybe. We'll have to talk to Coach. We got to get Coach on the show. We got to get his thoughts maybe on a bye week when he's got some time. But right now he is blowing and going. They got practice every single day, film, everything's going on. I can't even get a hold of them. So we hope that they can get off the losing snide this week, get a win. And with that, we will get out of here. We will get out of here. Unfortunately, just not a lot to talk about, and there's only two of us. So that kind of, we're missing the third leg. We're missing the other point of view. So that shortens things down a little bit. It's off season. Actually excited. He was excited about the UFL too. So
yeah,
we'll try to keep up. I'm gonna give it a shot. But it's tough, man. It's tough. It's like
I'm gonna do it. Shout out to Brandon Newey. He did play in his golf tournament this weekend, and he did not win.
Ouch.
And
that's why he's really not here.
When he didn't win, he went out, and you're not going to know what this is. but he went out and bought a blade set of clubs. Blades are what pros use. And he's going to use these clubs to help him hone his swinging or something. I don't know. I can't keep up. He's had a lot of clubs. The guy, I think if he wasn't a player, he'd be an equipment manager for sure. He told me that the other day. He loves his equipment. So not like that either, people. Okay, this is a clean show. So
we'll catch Stewie and Tim next week.
Yeah, we'll catch all of us.
Go ahead. Let's hear it.
Until we see you next Tuesday. Before we do that, we have to thank people. We have to thank New Era Media for putting our show out. We have to thank All Access Football. We have to thank our network partner, FanStream Sports. And then we will simply say that until next Tuesday, keep those chains moving, folks. See ya.
Have a good one, y'all.
Thursday night.